Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sergeant Eric Ripp. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Philadelphia Police Department. Thank you for joining us here today. Today we're going to provide an update into the administrative aspect of the investigation of the fatal officer-involved shooting, which occurred this past Monday, August 14th, on the 100 block of Willard Street. I'm soon going to introduce Police Commissioner Outlaw, who's going to provide an administrative update into the investigation, and then the Commissioner will briefly take questions. I want to respectfully remind everyone that these questions are going to remain germane to the administrative aspect of the investigation, and we will not be able to provide updates into the criminal aspect of this investigation at this time. Thank you. Commissioner.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're here today to provide an update on the administrative investigation into the fatal officer-involved shooting of Mr. Eddie Irizarry, which took place on Monday, August 14th, 2023, on the 100 block of East Willard Street at approximately 12:28 p.m. During last week's presser, I assured the public that a fair and thorough investigation will take place by our department, and I also pledged that our department would provide updates in a transparent and expeditious manner, but only when we could do so in a way that would not compromise the integrity of ongoing investigations by the police department and the district attorney's office. I stand by my words and will continue to do so as the investigations continue. Today, I am announcing that I have made the decision to utilize Commissioner's direct action to suspend Police Officer Mark Dial with the intent to dismiss him at the end of 30 days due to administrative violations. More specifically, I chose to exercise direct action due to Officer Dial's violations of PPD Disciplinary Code Article 4, Insubordination, Section 4-002, refusal to promptly obey proper orders from a superior officer, and Article 1, Conduct Unbecoming, Section 1-008, failure to cooperate in any departmental investigation. I want to make it clear that the investigation into the shooting itself continues, along with the administrative investigation, in which there may be additional disciplinary charges in the event that Officer Dial violated additional PPD policies. The police department takes accuracy and transparency in incident reporting very seriously. We are investigating the inaccuracies in the initial report of this incident, and appropriate disciplinary action will be taken if warranted upon the conclusion of that investigation. I completely understand that today's announcement, as well as the press briefing held yesterday by the Irizarry Family's Counsel, will give rise to additional questions. I must again reiterate that our primary duty is to safeguard the integrity of the ongoing investigation, a task concurrently undertaken by the District Attorney's Office. Simultaneously, we must ensure the safety of the communities we serve, as well as the well-being of our officers and their families. Neither the suspension of Officer Dial for a 30-day period with the intention of dismissal, nor any public discourse absolves me or this department of these responsibilities. The decision to utilize deadly force is unequivocally one of the most difficult decisions police officers may have to make in our careers. It is a decision that is not taken lightly due to the instantaneous and long-lasting effects of such actions and the ripple effect that the loss of life on those directly and indirectly linked to the event. We must be fair, we must be consistent with how we apply the law, and we must abide by our department's policies and directives in order to ensure that we maintain that consistency. We owe nothing less to the great people of this city. With that, I will briefly take questions.
Commissioner, can you tell us, where did that initial information come from?
That is correct.
Not for the shoot.
Not for the shoot, for refusal to cooperate in the investigation. The shooting investigation is still ongoing at this time.
Commissioner Outlaw, can you tell us, where did that initial information come from, that Mr. Irizarry was outside of his car and lunging at those two officers with a knife?
As I stated when asked that before, that is currently under an active investigation. I, again, have questions. I have the same questions, and I'm looking forward to finding out what the answer is.
You see the evidence, you're the police commissioner. Do you think that the shooting is criminal? Do you think that this is a crime?
That's not my call. That is for the district attorney's office to make that determination. As I stated before, I do have questions, and I'm looking forward to the outcome of not only the administrative investigation, but also the criminal investigation. Yes.
The statement after the shooting does not match up with what the statement after the shooting doesn't match up with what happened in the video. How do you assure the people of Philadelphia that officers are telling the truth?
And again, I was asked that question before, and I said it feels like, you know, when we take 50 steps forward, sometimes we're taking 100 steps back. All we could do, and I'm hoping that our efforts shortly thereafter, when we did come out with the facts as we knew them, is something to show that not only we do expect to be transparent, but that we have nothing to hide here. We make mistakes. We did say out there on the scene that this was preliminary information. Unfortunately, the information that was released has pretty dire consequences in establishing and framing a narrative that, quite frankly, was not true. I recognize that. I recognize the impact that that has on community. The impact that it has on family, the community in that immediate area where it happened, those who may have witnessed. But again, like I said, as soon as we found out that that was misinformation, that's when we put that press release out and then held the press conference the subsequent day, hoping to be as transparent as possible. We make mistakes, and that's what happens. Right here, right here. No, I will not give details of the administrative investigation, and that is subsequently a part of that.
What is required of the officer in a situation like this when somebody is shot? What is required by contract?
Certainly. D.C. Wembley.
Hi, my name is Robin Wimberly. I'm Deputy Commissioner of the Office of Professional Responsibility. When we conduct an administrative investigation, officers are given their garrity warnings because they are to give a compelled statement. So in giving a compelled statement, we say to them that if you lie or if you don't cooperate, you can be suspended and/or fired.
Commissioner, what was the chain of communication? You're talking about the misinformation at the scene that day. What was the chain of communication at the scene of the shooting? In other words, who told Corporal Riley, who gave the initial narrative, the initial statement on behalf of the police, who told Corporal Riley to give that statement to the media?
So I think Jeff Cole asked that earlier at the previous presser. We do believe that that came from an internal source, but again, that is currently under administrative investigation, and as soon as I find that out, I will take appropriate action once known.
So who else is that?
Over here, over here, over here.
Commissioner, should the new procedure be moving forward that police top brass look at the body-worn camera footage before putting out a statement as it relates to police-involved shooting because of what happened here?
I think that makes sense. There won't always be video footage to review. It takes a lot of time, quite frankly, to even download video if it's body-worn camera footage, or even to go back and to review the video footage if there are Ring cameras, for example, there. So the video might not always be available. What we're trying to do is get you information in the shorter amount of time. It's the same amount of media there out there on the scene. So what we're trying to do is be transparent and to share with you what we know at this time. I think moving forward, actually I know moving forward, is that less information will be shared until we can corroborate those details that we've given you in the past. Over here and then over here.
Who else, in addition to the officers involved, who else is under scrutiny? Because as you noted, somebody else is obviously trying to, or allegedly trying to spread a false narrative.
Well, I wouldn't, it's where the investigation takes us, right? So sometimes we have to reverse engineer and find out where the source was. And then if that investigation takes us to other individuals or other sources of information, we don't leave any stone unturned. So that's why it's being investigated, as opposed to us saying, well, yeah, it happened, we shrug our shoulders, and we move on. KJ, and I can't hear you, KJ.
Sorry, procedurally, who makes the decision about when to release body-worn camera video? Because I know that you don't release it along for all this case, and I just want to understand what the decision process is and who makes that decision.
So that decision is made by the district attorney's office. Ultimately, it is their criminal investigation. Body-worn camera footage, or any footage, quite frankly, is considered evidence. And again, the reason why we're all being tight-lipped as much as we have been is because we really want to preserve the integrity of those investigations. We don't want to taint potential witnesses or, you know, allow people to create narratives if they didn't have one. So it's the DA's determination. Obviously, we consult with the DA's office when there's the request being made for that release, and then the result or the answer from the DA's office is relayed back to us. I'll take two more questions. Here.
Have you seen that ring camera footage that shows the aerial view of exactly what happened, and it's been released to the public? What is your message to the family who had to watch that, and to the public who had to see exactly what those last moments of Eddie Irizarry's life were like?
Well, I think I know what you're asking. We did not release that footage, so
You've seen it.
I have seen it. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding your question, because when you release footage like that, there's an impact there. We didn't release that footage, but what I will say is, the same way I've done before, this isn't easy for everybody, for anybody. This is a tragedy. It's not lost upon me that a family lost a loved one. As parents, we don't want to bury our children prior to them. We all understand that there's a family that's grieving. And again, we're not being tight-lipped to be hard or cold. We're doing this because we want to ensure that whatever justice looks like is done in the cleanest way, to ensure that whatever that justice is, it's not tainted, and that the process is respected. So, you know, again, my heart goes out to everyone involved in this. It's a tragedy all the way around.
Okay, we're taking two final, folks, we're going to take two final questions. Purple over here, ma'am, we're going to go to you last.
Commissioner, yesterday, counsel for the family described that initial narrative put out by police as a packed lie, flat-out lie. What's your reaction?
I would call it misinformation. And again, it was unfortunate. It's a narrative that, again, it really took the whole incident in a completely different direction. There's a lot of emotion tied to that, all understandable. But yet again, once it was brought to our attention that was misinformation that was put out there, we corrected it. And we didn't have to do that. My understanding was that, you know, we only shared it because we got caught. Caught by whom? Right? We discovered it ourselves and did what we could in a timely manner to make sure that narrative was quickly addressed.
We're going to go purple over here. We're going to end on you, ma'am.
The victim of Eddie Irizarry's face and mugshot has been plastered all over the city of Philadelphia and abroad. When does this officer's mugshot or picture go up?
I don't have an answer to that question.
Commissioner,
This is the last question.
Commissioner, the family has said that so far nobody from leadership for police have met with them. Is there any intention to talk to the family privately and therefore with them?
I think when it's appropriate, and what's different in this case, and I will tell you, we don't meet with every family. It was immediately brought to my attention that there was a lawsuit involved. That changes things with the amount of interaction that I have now, being the final decision maker. Again, it does not take away from my understanding the grief that they're experiencing. I know that they probably do want to sit down with me one-on-one, but I'm going to have to take that into consideration under advisement of counsel. Thank you.
Does the mayor want to get up and say anything? Mayor Kenny, comment, reaction? In fact, yesterday during the news conference, the Council for the Family, specifically, Shaka Johnson said the next mayor will need to pay close attention to training, certainly as it relates to this kind of general situation and dealing with people of the public who may be suffering from mental illness.
Well, this is certainly a tragedy, and my heart breaks for the family and for the loss of Mr. Irizarry. Again, this is an ongoing investigation, and I'm not going to have any comment on what I think or feel about what I've seen or know until this investigation is concluded. And we have made, through this commissioner and this command staff, tremendous training improvement in our police academy and ongoing training. This is a situation, obviously, is tragic, and the investigation will bring out whatever it's going to bring out, and we'll move on from there.
Mayor Kenny, during your last year in office,
Yes.
over these 8 years or 7.5 years, how would you characterize the relationship between the police department and the community?
I think it's better. I think we went through some really rocky times during the George Floyd murder and the civil unrest that followed, and then after Walter Wallace was killed. But I do think, in general, the community supports the police. The police are supportive of the community, and circumstances like this do set us back. But I think that we're able to recover and move forward, and the next mayor will continue to make progress.
Okay,
Mayor, how do
thank you,
you
sir.
react to that video that was released?
I just told you I can't react to it. It's an ongoing investigation, and no matter how many times you ask me or how many different ways you ask me, I can't comment on it because it's a ongoing investigation.
You're a
Thanks, Jeff.
resident of the city and
Yeah,
you
and I'm the
represent the people here.
yeah. See you, Jeff.
Thank you, folks. If there's any additional questions, please continue to forward them to all the addresses you've been using before. police.publicaffairs at phila.gov. All right, we'll respond to everything we can. Thank you for your time.